Assalamualaikum everyone. Today my co will present about water pollution. My name is Muhammad Faiz Aiman bin Muhammad Fauzi. My matric number 2020872926. My second member is Nobadu Mirza bin Ibrahim. My third member is Muhammad Hafiz bin Nasrizan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Faiz Aiman bin Muhammad Fauzi. My number matric is 2020872926. Today I will present about introduction of water pollution. Okay. Water pollution occurs when pollution, substance or microorganisms enter water source such as aquifer, river, lakes or sea. As a result, it loses quality and becomes dangerous to both people and the environment. Uh, so, a qualitative research methodology was used in this study, which is a type of research that rely on unstructured and non-numerical data. Uh, the study and report that focus on uh, define water quality, the cause of water pollution and their impact, and how to improve water quality as a component of this study. It's crucial to publish this idea because water pollution has a negative impact on the economy in numbers of ways, including by costing life, impairing people's capacity to work, affecting a nation, a good like food, destroying culture and historical landmarks, and increasing the cost of remediation and restoration. And next, I will talk about definition of water pollution. And water pollution can be a variety of sources, including industry waste, agricultural runoff, sewage and oil spill. In other definition of water pollution is the existing of harmful chemical and biological agents in groundwater that go above and beyond what is naturally present in the water and may be dangerous to the environment and human health. Um, it is important to remember that water pollution is a global issue, with some nations be significantly more impacted than others. Um, the inability of developing nations to properly monitor and regulate water pollution can have serious negative effects on human health and the environment.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nubadu Fitri bin Ibrahim. Okay, I will share you about the environmental economics issues or problems. Okay, regarding of the water pollution, the water pollution can poison people or spread disease. Poorly treated sewage contains bacteria and parasites that can get into drinking water supplies and cause illnesses like cholera and so on. Hazardous substances such as pesticides, herbicides and chemicals from businesses, farms, residences and others. This can be fatal or have a chronic toxic effect that can cause neurological issues or cancer. When we use water for drinking and food preparation, numerous water pollution enter into our bodies. Other than that, hazardous substances in water systems can have an impact on the local flora and fauna as well. These organisms occasionally survive by retaining the toxins in their bodies, only to be consumed by people who may subsequently get slightly unwell or they have a more severe toxic symptoms as a result. Animals and plants themselves could perish or have improper reproduction. Next, streams in our country are in bad ecological shape. According to the Environmental Protection Agency (EPA) estimates that water pollution has contaminated 46% of United States streams, 21% of lakes, 18% of coastal waters, and 32% of the country's wetlands. Bacteria and heavy metals like mercury, phosphate, and nitrogen are the most frequent pollutants. Farm runoff and pollution ingested from the air are the main contributors. Also, government organizations face a hurdle when trying to regulate polluters. This is so because most of this pollution is non-point pollution or runoff from farms, septic tanks, and roads. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, land-based pollutants that enter water supplies directly account for about 80% of the pollution in the ocean. Okay, the next is untreated sewage. Worldwide, untreated sewage causes 2.2 million deaths from diarrheal illnesses each year. 10% of people in impoverished countries have serious intestinal worm infections. 4.32 million Americans have acute gastrointestinal disease because of tainted public water supplies. Untreated sewage is the cause of many illnesses because it promotes the growth of bacteria and depletes the water's oxygen supplies. And the last one is increasing ocean acidity. Catastrophic harm caused by ocean acidification, which is partly a result of a global warming to shellfish and coral reef. According to scientists, the seas get 25% of all carbon emissions. The water's chemical composition is altered by the rise in carbon dioxide. As a result, the pH levels drop, increasing the acidity of the water. The pH level decreased by 0.1 pH units since the 108,000s. The pH scale is logarithmic, just like the Richter scale used to measure earthquakes. Despite the pH scale's diminutive size, it represents a 30% rise in acidity as a result. These worrying tendencies makes the ocean a poisonous environment for marine life. Okay, we go to the improving or control of water pollution. The first one, we can use the taxation and regulation. The 1972 Clean Water Act and other regional and state legislation ought to be updated by the government to consider the present. For example, it significantly reduced water pollution in the United States, particularly from industrial waste and municipal discharges. The incentives raise property values in a 25-mile area surrounding the clean-up water. Also, piggyback tax could potentially be levied by the government against polluters. These taxes impose a fine on polluters that is proportionate to the harm they have caused others as well as to damage they have caused themselves. The taxes have a track record of reducing pollution and supporting clean-up initiatives. Also, the government might enhance financing for investigation into ways to reduce water pollution. For instance, bioremediation has proven to be highly effective and inexpensive to naturally digest pollutants in the environment. It uses microorganisms or microbial plants and their enzymes. Secondly, green agriculture. We can conclude that water pollution is primarily caused by agriculture. The main sources of water body pollution is runoff from farms. Each year, agricultural cultivation release organic matters, insecticides, fertilizers, sediments, and saline drainage into waterways. The main components of fertilizer that contribute from agricultural runoff are nitrates and phosphates. There are a lot of recent advances in farming that have been having a good influence such as hydroponic farming to lower pollution levels and manage excessive waste from farms. This method substitutes nutrient-rich water for soil. Another method being explored for agricultural irrigation is the reuse of wastewater. It is safe to reuse the water on the crops because the water has been filtered sustainably to remove the bulk of impurities. One of the most effective ways to lessen water pollution is to spray crops with organic pesticides. When compared to the conventional farming methods, organic farming practices are less damaging to the environment and discharges less nitrogen pollution into the environment. Okay, the next is farmers can also turn their manure waste into biofuel as an alternative. Utilizing concentrate animal feeding operations, modern industrial farming techniques produce more than 300 million tons of trash annually. Although some of it is absorbed into the ground as fertilizer, most of it ends up in the rivers and oceans. Some of this pollutant will be eliminated by repurposing. The treatment of wastewater. The treatment of part of the water before it is reintroduced into the waterways is the most efficient technique to prevent the water pollution. Because what because wastewater treatment facilities can almost eliminate all pollutants in wastewater through a chemical, physical, or biological process. And I think this is a very effective, effective option. The facilities chambers will be used steadily lower the toxicity of the sewage. It is critical that the equipment in wastewater treatment facilities stay in excellent shape so that it can function exactly as planned. Before the water is discharged back into the environment, a variety of water treatment sensors can be employed to ensure that the toxins are being adequately removed from the water. These sensors include oxidation reduction potential sensor, conductivity sensors, and pH sensors. Okay, this is the last one of the improving or control water pollution, and this is the stormwater management. Okay, when it's practical, managing stormwater is another great way to preserve the environment and lessen water pollution. Hazardous contaminants or pollution are gathered by stormwater as it travels along sidewalks, roadways, and lawns are eventually discharged into storm drains, streams, and rivers. Many various techniques can be used to clean and control stormwater, from sand filtration and electrocoagulation to reverse osmosis and advanced oxidation. This is because the stormwater eventually finds its ways to rivers, streams, and oceans and can exacerbate the pollution already present in these bodies of water. It is so crucial to manage the stormwater and the pollutants contained within it. This problem should be lessened and the number of pollutants that enters the ocean by managing by the stormwater.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Hafiz bin Asmizan. My student number is 2020495914. For this presentation, I will explain about innovation and market approach. Outdoor water filters with smart grids. The results of innovation by University Putra Malaysia researchers are able to remove heavy metals or copper in tap water to prevent adverse effects on human health due to excessive copper ions in drinking water. Smart beads not only function as filters but also as photosensor electrodes to detect the quantity of copper 2 ions in real samples. Although many homes, offices, or restaurants have water filtration devices, some copper 2 ions can still pass through the filter, and finally, water containing unknown amounts of copper has been used by the human. This innovation can be applied in water treatment and recovery, food and beverage, pharmaceuticals, and cosmetics. This is the picture of outdoors water filters with smart beads by researcher from University Putra Malaysia. For the market approach, our group chose pollution charge, effluent fees for point sources. An effluent fee is a charge based on the release of pollution. The fee can be based on the volume or type of effluent release. A volume-based effluent fee is imposed on a per-unit basis so that polluters pay higher amounts for larger quantities for discharges. If the intent is to discourage the release of more damaging effluents such as those containing toxics, a pollutant-based effluent fee can be used. In this case, the fee is higher for discharges containing more harmful substances. Product charge for non-point sources. Because the amount of pollution released by each non-point source is unknown, it is impossible to apply an effluent charge in a fair manner, at least not in the conventional sense. For example, a product charge that was established as a tax on fertilizer. A market tool of this kind seems to have some potential value given the significant contribution that agricultural runoff makes to non-point source pollution. The imposition of a tax on fertilizer results in an increase in its effective price, which in turn ought to result in a reduction in the quantity that is demanded.
So, for the conclusion, water pollution is a serious issue that affect the health and well-being of both human and the environment. Therefore, everyone should put out their effort to improve water quality and reduce water pollution globally. This is because of the numerous and various harmful impacts that water pollution has on the environment, human health, global warming, and most crucial, the nation's economy. In order for the plan to be successful, Malaysian citizens must commit to the preventive measures implemented by the government. All parties must work together to control pollution, such as water pollution, and we must make sure that our nation that take this issue seriously because they are crucial to sustainable growth.